Hey everyone, and welcome to another MLM shit show. And today we're back to talk about Juice Plus. Actually, not really talk about it. This interview with a Juice Plus rep was sent to me by one of our regulars. His name's Rob, and if you've been reading comments under the videos, you probably know him. You're gonna recognize him. Rob is a member of something that's called Nomad Network, and that's an entrepreneurs group that is private, but it's also free to join. And when I say entrepreneur, I don't mean MLM. He's not a part of an MLM, but some of the people in the Nomad Network are, and I believe that's exactly how he interviewed this person. I'm not 100% sure on that, so sorry if this is wrong. But anyways, he was kind enough to send me this interview after watching my video on Juice Plus leaders. I'm going to blur this lady's face. We're not going to mention her name. This is really nothing personal. When I was listening to it, I saw so many red flags, and not like on the lady herself, but on the person who recruited her. And I think personally that her story is really sad. Like a lot of other people out there, she was going through a really hard time, and one of her friends recruited her into Juice Plus, and she's been there ever since. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to rant about. I mean, it's not even 7, it's 6:30 and it's getting dark outside, and I do not like that. Did I say don't forget to click the like and subscribe button if you'd like to support me? And let's just put a little disclaimer in here and let's get into this interview. Okay, so before we go into it, just so that you have a little bit of context on this person, so this is her Facebook bio, and it says certified nutrition and wellness coach for plant-forward positive living. She is the founder and creator of whatever the name is, Coaching for Plant-Forward Positive Living. She believes in empowering everyday people at any age to take control of their personal wellness. Originally from the coast of South Texas, her career began in a restaurant industry. She spent 17 years traveling extensively within the US, studying gourmet food, both in communication sciences and disorder. As a speech-language pathologist, she specializes in pediatric feeding and swallowing disorders. She found her passion for nutrition in 2004 as an affiliate of the Juice Plus company. So she's been in Juice Plus for ages. Imagine how much money she spent for supplements, for Juice Plus supplements since then. And she gives them to her kids as well, so my god. That is so much money. She went on to graduate from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition in 2015 and is now a certified nutrition and wellness coach. She coaches individuals and families on a plant-forward path to lifelong vitality. So that's who she is. So this interview is going to be a little bit more clear now, and I don't want to take content from Rob, so I'm not going to play the whole interview. So if you do want to watch the full interview, you're going to have to contact Rob, and I'm sure he's going to be somewhere in the comments because this is all private, so you would need a link to see the full interview. Rob, if you want to stay anonymous, then don't comment anything, and if you do not want to stay anonymous and if you want to give people access, leave a comment down below and I'm going to pin it so that people can contact you directly. I say let's just dive into it.
I can tell you the title. It's not going to mean much to the general public. It's a qualifying senior sales coordinator, which is a lower level leadership position in the company. So it sort of goes from an introductory position to several other commission levels. It's the highest commission level plus some additional bonus structures based on supporting team. The earlier levels, you don't require any team. You can just be a partner and just have customers, and it doesn't require a team. So I'm in that phase, I guess is the easiest way to explain that. Does that answer your question? Right. So the rank I was at, it's a kind of, I mean, I don't know how long you want my answers to be here, but I'll just kind of speak freely. And if you want to interrupt me, it's okay.
I've got more time. I suspect I have more time today than you do. So please answer as long as you need to.
Okay. Well, okay. We're good. So funny story. So I've been with the company for 16 years, but it's a journey, and Juice Plus is designed to kind of meet you where you are in your life. And for that, I'm forever grateful, because my life has been, very interesting, the path that it's run over that 16 years. So I've been, qualified senior sales coordinator since November. And then prior to that, I was at a sales coordinator level, which is the very beginning of that leadership position. It's the very kind of first foot into that. I was there for 11 years at that position. But the reason I was there for 11 years is because I had a whole lot of life happening. I have two daughters who are almost 21 and 25. I raised them as a single mother when they were very young. And when I was introduced to this business, my younger daughter was having a lot of health issues. She was 3, well, for the first 3 years of her life. So it was introduced to me at that point by my very best friend of 30 years, who I think you met, Lori. I was feeling desperate at the time for something to change. I live in San Antonio. I was commuting to UT in Austin every day to finish my bachelor's degree. I had my girls here. I was working in a restaurant waiting tables, and finances were really, really tight, really tight. But I was spending $350 a month on medical care for my daughter. Oh. And that was really hurting me. And so to even conceptualize taking on something that was going to cost more that I didn't have budgeted was frightening, in all honesty, at that point in my life. And because the messenger came in the form of one of my very best friends, whom I trusted deeply. She said, "Look, Wendy, I love you. And I know you feel like you can't afford this, but I'm going to tell you can't afford not to." And so I took that step. I was pursuing speech pathology, had a 20-year restaurant background. I just did it because I didn't know what else to do at that point. I didn't even know what it was, quite honestly. I didn't care. I just needed to do something.
Okay, I'm gonna stop that there. This is probably the saddest part of this whole thing. She was struggling financially. She was a single mother. She was paying a lot of expenses, especially for one of her children who had medical issues, health issues. And her very best friend recruited her. Her very best friend even said, "Hey, I know you can't afford this, but can you give $1 million for fucking supplements, because it's gonna help you, you're gonna have your own biz." Like, what? And she said it as well herself, just because it came from a very trusted source, aka her best friend. The only reason why she accepted it, and she thought she didn't have anything else to do, she thought she didn't have any other choice, and she trusted her best friend, and this is how she got dragged into it. And she's been in it since then. And like I said, she threw away so much money on these supplements. They are so expensive, and you can find same or better quality products in your pharmacy, in your local pharmacy. I think this is the saddest part of the whole interview, because it just shows she was struggling so much. And to think that her own best friend, I wouldn't call her a best friend at that point. Let's keep going.
Something different. And so within 4 months, my daughter went from 13 medications, 5 of which were steroids, so her immune system was completely shot, to 3 medications. And we weren't at the doctor anymore. She wasn't getting sick anymore. It was the only thing we changed. My older daughter was 7. Fast forward to 5 years after, my older daughter was in the 7th grade. I took her to her pediatrician, and he said, she had strep. And he said, "You haven't been on an antibiotic in 5 years. What changed?" And she goes, "Oh, it's those 6 capsules my mom makes me swallow every day." And he didn't ask any questions about it, but he said, "Well, keep doing it." And here she is, 25. And with the exception of one little round of antibiotics in college, she hasn't been on an antibiotic since we started 16 years ago. I mean, once in 7th grade and once in college. My younger daughter, who was, really, really ill, she was on a nebulizer 8 times a day. She was just really not doing well. Ultimately became a very competitive volleyball athlete all the way through high school. So what that did for me as a mom was it opened my eyes to how I was feeding my family. I had a high-end gourmet restaurant background, so I thought I really knew food. I mean, I knew beautiful food and I knew exotic food. So I wasn't afraid to introduce things to my children, but I didn't know healthy food. So all of it shifted. And that was the beginning of my journey in really learning about nutrition and how to integrate that into my life. So when I started learning more about speech pathology and feeding and swallowing disorders, and saw the ingredients on formulas and, things like, just some of the stuff that, children who are on the beige diet eat. I knew I needed to know more. So I pursued a certification in integrative nutrition and wellness coaching, to kind of fold all of that in together. So that 11 years at one level was really about just kind of where my life was. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful thing about a company like Juice Plus is the way it's structured. You don't ever lose any ground. They don't have any quotas. They don't have any penalties. Once you reach a certain commission level, you don't ever lose that.
Again, extremely sad that her own best friend recruited her at the time when she could not afford to pay that much money for supplements. And I don't know, like 16 years ago, Juice Plus might have been a little bit cheaper. I don't know. She didn't mention in the interview how much it cost back then, but today's prices are insane, especially during inflation. Also, the little medical claims that she put in there for her kids, I'm happy if it worked for her kids and if her kids stopped being sick. First of all, you were giving your kids these capsules, these vitamins, to your very small kids without consulting a doctor, because she did not mention that she consulted a doctor. She mentioned that her doctor didn't even know what they were taking, but since he thought they were helping them, he didn't ask. But that was like 10 years after they started taking the capsules. So you really should not self-medicate your kids, especially if they're smaller kids. You really need to consult your doctor before you start giving them any vitamins or anything like that. Second is, again, okay, if all they needed was it probably just improved their immune system, which these capsules did. But again, the point of this whole movement is not against the MLM product. Yeah, MLMs can have good products, but that's not the point. The point is that the business model is set up for people to fail. It is heavily based on recruitment as well, which makes it a pyramid scheme, so it doesn't really matter if the products are good or no. Fact is, the Juice Plus is extremely expensive, and you can find other vitamins that you can take or give to your kids if your doctor recommended them in your local pharmacy for a lot less money. So I always think, like, if you're buying Juice Plus for yourself, it's super expensive. It's like maybe $90 something, I think, per month. And she said she's giving her kids 6 capsules. She also said she knew gourmet food, or I'd probably mispronounce that, but she didn't know healthy food. And I'm gonna say this, I said it so many times before, there's no such thing as unhealthy or bad food. It's all about how you cook it, how you make it. Juice Plus is kind of like replacement. If you can't cook and stuff like that, you should take this as a replacement. But I personally feel like it's always better to try and cook. You can always pre-cook your meals for the week or for half of the week, Sundays and Wednesdays or something like that. I think that you can always make some time to prepare food for you and your family, especially if you have small kids that are growing. That should be a high priority on the priority list, to make proper food for your kids so that they get enough vegetables and fruits and vitamins that they need, rather than giving them 6 capsules every day.
I have about 23 people in my downline. Only about 3 are really active. So
can you work that out? Just elaborate on that. What does that mean to be
sure.
really active?
So let me give you an example. My dad is, he'll be 80 this year. He's one of my downline. I, set him up as a partner just so he could get best pricing for his own product for himself and, previously for my mom. They have no desire to build a business. They just want, they're committed to the product and they want the best possible pricing. There's no, like I said, again, there's no quota. There's no minimum amount they have to spend every month. They don't have to keep any inventory. They don't have to do any of that. They just buy their own product and they essentially get a 10% discount. And so you also accumulate points over time. And so he's, because he's been doing this for, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years, 10 years. I'm not really sure. He's already reached the maximum commission level just by being his own client. So I have some of those. I have, a handful of those. I have a couple who are really just, they kind of dabble here and there. I've had a couple of people who became a partner and never purchased anything. I don't know why anybody does that, but it happens. They don't purchase anything. They don't like build, they don't have any customers, they just sort of abandon it. But they fall off, so they're not necessarily, they have two maybe that are still included in that 23 number, but they won't stay on that roster for very long. And then the 3 who are active are people who really are engaged in the business, who are wanting to build a business, who are wanting to build a stream of income using this method.
Okay, so that's not a giant team, but come on, she recruited her 80-year-old dad who pays $90-something every month for some supplements. Oh, stop recruiting your family members, especially your old parents. Like, I feel so bad for them. I feel so bad for her that she doesn't see what she's doing to her dad.
Say that, so I do have one team member who kind of has not followed up with any of her customers, or they've all left for one reason or another. She's been her only customer. And then so each year you renew your partnership. She's decided, to not renew her partnership. And she is at the top commission level. She could come back in a year, 2 years, 3 years, and she would come back right where she stopped.
Good.
So you're right. You lose nothing. I mean, there's really no downside. And one of the beautiful things about it is that, you mentioned MLM. I'm sure that's part of the structure, but the thing about this company in particular is that it's built on 4 different, it's built on network marketing. It's built on a franchise because there's name recognition. There's a tried and true system that is put in place for us to just use. We have all the tools we need. The company provides that. We don't have to recreate anything. It's a global company. We're in 28 different countries. So we have the opportunity to have an international business. And then there's also a corporate piece to it. So the higher commission, the higher leadership levels, there's a full corporate benefits package, which is also something that sets the company apart.
Yeah, cool. She can come back in a few years, but she just kind of said that she didn't really do anything anyway. So of course she can come back where she left off because she didn't really do anything or get anywhere in the company. I don't know. Maybe I missed the point of that one. So
how long do reps typically stay on your team? I know you can only speak for yourself. If you were to introduce somebody into Juice Plus, what is the ballpark?
I mean, it varies. There's not necessarily an easy answer. I mean, years. So I'm a rep who has stayed on my friend Lori's team for 16 years. She started a year before me. And there are several of us who have been in double-digit numbers. There are reps within the company who have been here for 25, 30 years, because prior to it being Juice Plus, the company was established. They did some other things. And so they came in prior to the Juice Plus line. But most of the people who are on my team, who are active members, have been with me for, I would say, 5 to 7 years. I have a couple who have, just really, again, like my dad, we call them family planners, people who are just getting the discount, who really are, they love the product. And so they've been team members for, over 10 years. They just, again, because they just want the product at best pricing. So, I don't know that there's necessarily an average, but it's definitely
that was a fair question, and I like how casually she dodged to respond, but she kind of did say 5 to 7 years, which is like, do they? If they do, I feel bad for them because, like I said, that's so much money that you spend on these products when you can get the same quality products to do the same for a lot cheaper anywhere else. So if that's true, that's a long time, but I feel like she kind of dodged the question. Of course, she's gonna say, well, myself, for example, because it's very rarely that someone's gonna be in the MLM business for 16 years. That I don't hear that often at all.
People on this network, some of whom really are searching for something else to do. And many of them have full-time jobs and want to find side hustles. So if someone does have a full-time job, would you recommend that they start doing Juice Plus as a side hustle, or is this something that that they would potentially jump into with both feet?
Mhm. So, I mean, I can speak to that on a couple of different levels, because, like I said, I started the business as a full-time student, single mom, waiting tables, 2 nights a week, mostly living off student loans. It's terrible. So, when I started the business, I needed to get it into my kids. That was the important thing to me. So I started out as one of those people who just wanted best pricing. I would never recommend somebody quit their full-time job to do this. Now, because this is a business, right? You're building a business. And like with any business, I've had my own practice before, I've had a clinic. With any business, you need to be able to support yourself while you grow it. And so this is no different. There's no get rich quick scheme. There is no, and there's some fast tracks, plans. There are some bonus structure, incentive bonuses for moving a little more quickly if you want to. But to suggest to somebody to quit a full-time job and just jump in, with both feet, in my opinion, would be irresponsible of me. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't work for some people, because some people have done it. Certainly in the recession back in 2008, we had people who lost their jobs, and they did jump into this full force and made it a sustainable, lucrative business in a relatively short period of time. But that wasn't because they quit a job to jump into this. It's because they needed something desperately to start bringing in income. So I would typically recommend you do this when you have time, whether it's 15 minutes a day, or if you've got, 20 hours a week to put in, you can do that. But, I'm very sensitive to doing things financially responsibly, because I've certainly been through some really tough times. I would never want to be responsible for.
That was very nice. Whenever someone asks this kind of question in an interview with a current MLM member, always terrified of what the answer is going to be. But thankfully, this answer was okay. And she said it would be irresponsible for someone to quit their job and jump in without a plan. Fair play to this lady. I personally feel like there's no malice in what she's doing. And she said she has a small team. It's not like she's mass recruiting or anything. I just feel like she was just in a very vulnerable state, and she got dragged into this by her best friend, and she just trusts that woman so much, and she just thinks that this really saved her kids, that this changed her life so much. She's just so deep now that I don't feel like she's ever going to leave this MLM. Sometimes some people are just in so deep that it's really hard to leave. And this can be like any kind of situation, not even just the MLM, but especially like if you're emotionally connected to it, if you think, oh my God, this did this for me, it would be really hard for her to leave. And she doesn't seem like she's aware that it would be irresponsible and people probably wouldn't succeed, so they should not leave their full-time job to do MLMs. She's aware of that by this answer, I'd say. But at the same time, she is so deep in it that she just can't leave, or isn't even thinking about leaving.
To find a job that can pay them immediately. Because, again, I've been there. I've been, I've really seen some financial hardship in my life. And I understand, I empathize very deeply with that feeling, the fear. So I would not necessarily say, don't worry about paying your mortgage. Start this first. You got to make the basic life necessities happen first, so that you feel stable, and then you can put, there's not a whole lot of financial investment. There's not $200 or $300 that's required to get into this. It's $50 a year, and then whatever product you purchase for yourself, that is the only financial investment. But when you're looking at putting gas in your car, putting food on your table, you have to balance that out. So, and unemployment is a scary place to be. And, you know, it makes us feel kind of desperate. And so it's important to, if somebody has some savings and they want to start this business and they feel safe and secure doing that while they seek other employment and build this business, I will support them 100% on that journey. But like I said, I wouldn't say, you know, don't worry about that, just do this and it'll all come together. I think that's not necessarily wouldn't be the best advice.
So that was another good response. Thank God she responded like rationally and logically. But there's one thing that she said, 50 per year and then plus the products. Yeah, when you say it like that, it sounds very cheap. There's no financial investment. But when you take a look at the product prices are insane. So it does add up to a lot of money that you spend on just supplements every year. So it's too expensive. For vitamin capsules, it's just ridiculously expensive. I don't care. So this is the last 4 minutes that I decided to include in the video. So let's listen.
I do, you know, I do very individualized coaching. I do workshops. I work with a youth sports basketball league here, where I do workshops for them monthly. With my individual clients, they're looking for something specific. Typically, they're looking, you know, I have a couple of relationships with some physicians here in town, so I get referrals from them. And obviously they come with a physician saying, this is what I need to see happen for this patient. And so my coaching practice, it's a very plant-forward approach. Divulging something personal to me, I am 100% plant-based. And I believe that, you know, just from my own journey, from my doctor's responses to that change in my labs and my, you know, in my own profile, that's been the best decision I've ever made in my life. That being said, there's no question that plants benefit us, benefit our health. And so for me, in my practice, I'm very transparent about being a partner with the company. I encourage, I don't want to say require, but I strongly encourage my clients to take the product because it's the fastest way. So something that's one other thing that's different about Juice Plus is all of their labels are nutrition facts. They're not supplement facts. There are 44 peer-reviewed research studies, clinical studies done on the product that are done by places like Yale Medical, MD Anderson, Nemours Children's Hospital. You know, we have a very, very close relationship because our home office is in Memphis. We have a very, very close relationship with St. Jude's Children's Foundation, Research Foundation. So clinical research is really important to us, and those articles are published in you know, the Journal of Nutrition, the Sports Medicine journal. I'm forgetting the exact title of it, but the clinical journals that are read by physicians. So with that backing, I know I'm not doing any harm in recommending that. And you know, health professionals, nutritionists recommend supplements all the time. And I know that when I recommend this, that I can pull that research. I know exactly where it is. I can pull it and I can say, this helps with inflammation. This helps with gut health. This helps with cardiovascular health. It doesn't, none of the research studies have been done on any specific disease, but on general kind of benefit to health. So as opposed to picking up something from, you know, the grocery store off the shelf where we don't know where it comes from. It's a supplement label. Nobody's really regulating it. There, you know, people don't know what symbols to look for, you know, that distinguish one product for another. They're usually buying generic, you know, things like that, that just, we don't, and then people load up with supplements. So I'm not a believer in that. I'm a believer in food. And Juice Plus is a whole food nutrition product. It's whole food concentrates. So when I recommend to my clients that they put that in their body right away, they tend to see benefit right away. There's just, almost, I don't want to speak in absolutes, but there's almost no way you won't see some benefit from putting the phytonutrients of 35 different fruits and vegetables in your body immediately.
Okay, that's kind of contradictory, the fact that she says I'm always for whole foods or whatever she just said, and then she says she recommends her clients to buy supplements. If you're all for a whole variety in nutrition and whatever, you should probably try to get your clients to start cooking with more variety, to eat more veggies and fruits and stuff like that, to make time in their day, in their week, to prepare food for themselves, to cook proper food, rather than stuffing themselves with capsules, with supplements. Because in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure this is correct when I say it, supplements cannot replace real food. Why are we trying to replace everything with capsules and supplements and pills? I don't know. She's too deep in it. She thinks that it helped change her life, her kid's life, and she just can't see beyond that. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Let me know down below what you thought about it. Again, thank you so much, Rob, for sharing this with me. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click that like and subscribe button if you'd like to support me, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye.